Welcome back to the show. We're in for a very special treat as we get the Quiksilver Icons of Surf Expression session happening here after what was a quick day of competition in the ROXY Pro G-Land. Got the elimination round done and our quarterfinals are set. Ronnie Blakey here with Luke Egan, Dibbity Stoyle. This is going to be a lot of fun, Luke, but the question has to be asked. Why aren't you out there riding your board that you won in 97 on?
It's not 6 to 8 foot and perfect.
Good call. But, Dim, you've had a close look at those boards. It's an incredible quiver, one you'd love to throw in your own garage, and one of the competitors will get the opportunity to pick one of those special crafts.
Yeah, they're so beautiful, aren't they? But they better keep an eye on it because, you know, if they leave it unattended, you never know where it might end up.
You just never know. Old shimmy disco, eh?
Yeah, slippery
Light
fingers.
But let's talk a little bit about these boards. For you, Luke, obviously an easy pick for you, one that's got a lot of sentimental value. Take us through it. It's a beautiful shape by your dad.
Yes, it is. 6'7" by 19 by 2.5. Little swallowtail, baby swallowtail. There was 2 boards I rode on the last day. I rode the 6'7" and I rode a 6'10" as well, but we figured that the 6'7", Dad and I figured we should do the 6'7" so these guys can throw it around a little bit better. And yeah, so that's why we went with that board. But so excited to watch these guys out there on these boards and see how they perform. And it's interesting to see who's on what.
Yeah, we've got an amazing lineup.
Whoa.
And that's Carissa Moore. Looks like she's on the Simon Anderson thruster design.
Look at the smile on her face. I think that was more fun than any of her boards.
Well, easy. But, yeah, she's certainly loving the opportunity. And it's a great opportunity for us to see our competitors on some different stuff. I mean, typically around a CT event, Dimity, you know, people are reluctant to experiment, try different stuff. They've got that refined piece of fiberglass and foam under their feet. They don't want to deviate too much and lose that feel. But this is a great way to spend the afternoon watching them step onto something different, and it's no doubt going to have an effect on how they approach this wave.
Yeah, it really is. And even just when I had to interview Isabella after that tough loss, like she just had a big smile on her face with that big, you know, that board under her arm, knowing that it's so different to what she normally rides. And I think surfers at heart are just pure surf fans. Like they just want to have fun. And oh, here she is. Look, she's styling. She's happy now.
Oh, from up the point.
Well, things just getting underway now, so we're going to enjoy this show for 35 minutes as we see. It's like Tatiana out there at the moment.
Mccabe.
But here is the rundown on who is out there at the moment. Jackson Baker's out there in the pink, and well, he had an obvious choice to make. He went with the Peter Mccabe single fin. Filipe Toledo in the yellow. He is on the Terry Fitz single fin. Kyle Belly in the black. He's riding the Sam Egan. Kanoa Igarashi in the blue on the Mark Richards twin.
That's going to be dangerous.
Stephanie Gilmore in the black on the Gerry Lopez single fin. Carissa Moore in the blue. We saw her on the Simon Anderson thruster. Tatiana just got a wave. She's in the pink. She's on Peter Mccabe single fin. And Isabella Nichols in the yellow is on the YU Rizal Tanjun. So I think Jackson Baker might actually be on the Gerry Lopez. So just on 34 minutes to go, we get to watch this show unfold. Steph Gilmore smiling as always, and she loves the opportunity to try out different boards, something that, you know, I guess you could say, Luke, is more willing to step onto different equipment and experiment between events.
Yeah, for sure, as we see Kayo on the Sam Egan just coming out of the lip very nicely. But yeah, Steph really likes to just experience different boards and see the pluses and the minuses and what they do. And yeah, and I think that's been put into her style, back into riding her conventional surfboard, her high performance board as well. You see, I think you learn from riding the single fins and the twin fins when you get back on your high performance board. You know, the single fins, you really got to put a lot of effort in to get down the line. You got to go up and down the wave and find the steep part to project yourself down the line. So, and the twin fins have got more speed than you know what to do with. So, yeah, it's pretty interesting. And as we see Filipe on the Terry Fitz,
Now, this is another guy that loves to jump on different equipment. I remember over the years, he just, especially at lowers when there's events there, he gets his home base, he's got his whole board quiver, and I remember watching him on a long board during the free surfs and all these fun boards, so he loves it. But going back to Steph, I think her favourite manoeuvre is actually just the high line on a single fin.
Just standing there, not even doing anything.
Just smiling
she
and high line.
So good in that mode, as we see there in the yellow, just taking one quickly and not getting much out of it. But this is the Quiksilver, iconic for a reason, surf expression session. And really the reason that we wanted to get all these boards in the rack and get these competitors riding them is that, you know, these are board designs that have really shaped the sport as we know it and influenced, you know, big changes in design and some that have stuck around for a while. Terry Fitzgerald, for example, his board from 1976, and Terry, a super expressive surfer, very flamboyant, always sort of ran his own race on his approach, was regarded as the sultan of speed, shaped his own boards after spending a bit of time up at Kira originally and then heading over to Hawaii and working with Dick Brewer, and that really gives us a great opportunity to segue and pay tribute to Dick, because he did pass away at the end of the month, March 29th. Just referred to as a titan of the surfboard industry, and his legacy, well, it can be seen in all the crafts that are out in this lineup at the moment. Yeah,
and Dick had so much to do with great shapers below him too. You know, he passed on his secrets and his trade to famous shapers like Mark Richards, Chris Christensen from San Diego, and the list goes on. He was always happy with craftsmen of that era are so happy to teach the younger guys the tricks of the trade, to to manufacture boards a lot easier, or to have those nice lines. And being a son of a shaper, it's always great to see my dad connect with other shapers of his era around the world, and they talk for hours and go on about different boards and different foam and different processes of manufacturing. It's it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, send a big shout out to everyone that is close to Dick, friends, family, of course. And we mentioned it. His designs really did change the way shapers all over the world approach putting boards together. And his hard work is seen in the rail profile and the bottom design of a lot of these boards out there. Gerry Lopez, who obviously spent plenty of time over here, his board designs would have had a big influence on what Peter Mccabe was working on and still working on to this day. So, it's a really cool opportunity here to see what the modern day surfer can do with these crafts.
And the awesome thing is a lot of these fantastic shapers that we're, of the boards we're watching out here today, they're still busy. People still want these boards. They want to have their replica in their house, and they want to have them on the wall. Like Mark Richards is making his twin fins all the time, and my dad has gone into making balsa surfboards now. He makes a bunch of them, and Gerry's full time making surfboards for people that just want to get their one Gerry Lopez board, and Peter Mccabe also still fairly busy. So it's fantastic. These guys are still, doing their craft and churning out beautiful surfboards.
Yeah,
I just picked up beautiful MR twin fin myself. It was a special birthday present, one that I've wanted for a long time, just to have in my quiver forever. So, yeah, those guys are busy.
There's no way that thing's going on the wall though, Jim.
With wax on it, yes.
A couple of depressions, eh? Still hitting the end section.
After every surf, it just goes straight back into the corner of the living room.
Perfect. Yeah, I think for me, and I'm sure you guys will agree, one of the coolest things about all the boards that are out there is they've all got a bit of artwork on them, and of the boards of that era, and in particular, the work that Martin Worthington did on the Terry Fitzgerald boards, that was just so iconic. The most unbelievable quiver shots of Terry Fitzgerald back in the day.
Yeah, so beautiful. Martin was one of the best airbrushes I've ever seen, and I remember being a kid in my dad's surf shop, Egan Surfboards, and we used to go down to hot butted surfboards, and Dad used to get a bunch of the boards and put them in our store with all the Egan surfboards and other beautiful brands from around Australia too. And I used to love going down to Fitzy's factory and run in and see what Martin had been doing, you know, and then you'd see a new mural just on the wall of the factory because he was maybe bored that afternoon. So what a talent. And between Terry's shapes and Martin's airbrushes, they were some of the most beautiful boards ever made.
Could you imagine trying to keep up with Gabby's quiver, the airbrush artist?
Oh, yeah. Mural. Gabby wants a mural every board now. He only gets about 90 a year, so...
There's no room for artwork. There's so many stickers on the thing. But, yeah, Terry Fitzgerald's boards, iconic. Love the look of those things. And, you know, it's funny because his was all about the look, but for Gerry Lopez and Peter Mccabe, their boards, they were sprayed for a reason here, and they went with that camouflage spray, and it helped sort of reduce the glare. They also wore snorkeling goggles sometimes when they were surfing out here.
Yeah, you can imagine being the only ones here in the jungle with only a couple of mates, and how many hours you'd get in the water with no one around. And yeah, the camo is supposed to be to stop the glare coming off the surfboard. Maybe they're right. I guess they were polished surfboards then, so maybe that was the issue. But I think it was to look pretty cool in the jungle myself.
Yeah, no, it's a fantastic look. No doubt about it. Luke, you got a really close look at the boards down there, and obviously you've got an innate feel for the one that got you the victory here at the Quiksilver Pro G-Land 97. But what about some of the other boards? What were you getting excited about when you were running your hand over some of those rails?
I really like the Gerry Lopez. Gerry's just probably got the volume a little bit more of what these surfers would want to surf right now, and the bottom was probably modernised just a touch, which is fantastic. The outline was definitely of the era of him coming here, and just the balance of the board under the arm just felt beautiful. The finishing was just A1 work on the glass job and the airbrush as well. And then, yeah, I like the Fitzy. I like the Fitzy as well. That looked beautiful. The YU and Mark Richards is a stickler for detail too. So that board was just polished to an inch of its life, and had the beautiful airbrush on it. Which to say, haven't seen Kanoa ride a wave out here yet, and my bet is that board in these quick little lefts are going to do some damage. So I've been really interested to see Kanoa on the MR twin fin. MR's put out a lot of these replica boards of his four-time world title board, and every one I've ever picked up and had a look at have been just perfect. So it's a credit to him to just keep manufacturing these boards, and they're perfect. And the other one, the Simon Anderson, I love the thickness of the Simon. You know, our boards have gotten so thin in the tail and the nose and stuff, and to see back in the 80s when Simon came up with that design, it's pretty chunky in the nose and the tail, and I think that sometimes that can benefit you in some different ways. I've seen some guys, you know, riding those replicas of Simons, and they're absolutely ripping. You know, like you got to double take to see if they're actually on a modern board or if it is a Simon thruster replica. So, yeah, you know, all these guys are just master craftsmen, and they're beautiful. The YU board as well. You know, Riz rode them for a long time, and yeah, he's a fantastic shaper as well, and it was awesome.
Yoshinori
Yada.
Yeah, Rizal Tanjung model, and he rode the board in 97, got himself a 10-point ride that year as a wild card in the event. It's been awesome to have Rizal around the contest, Dim. He's been kind of hopping from camp to camp, just kind of making cameos and blowing people's minds with stories from over here.
Yeah,
as we see a wave. Take us through this one, Dim.
Oh, who have we got here?
Oh, it looks like Kaio
on the...
Sam Egan.
Yes, Sam Egan. And gee, it suits him. I just got to say that the way those guys used to surf was actually radical when you look at the... I mean,
hey.
This board was probably less volume than the older models, but the way that Terry Fitzgerald and those guys used to throw around those boards is actually... They had so much talent.
Absolutely, absolutely. Terry Fitz winning, I'm not sure what year it was in the 70s, but he won the On Bali Pro on one of those boards. As we see the replay here, Kaio realising this 670's got to get right on the tail to be able to throw it around, but he gets his fin his feet over the fins and links a couple of nice turns out of the lip. And this is why Dad and I decided to do the 6-7, because I'm not sure how the 6-10 would have gone on a day like this. I'm sure Kaya would have given it some stick, but he's doing some beautiful turns, linking really nicely. I think Dad might get some orders out of this wave.
That was sick, that 3-turn combo.
You know what the cool thing is? We've taken it out of the panel's hands, and we're going to be judging who we think is going to get the free choice of a board out of this quiver. And at the moment, I don't know about you guys, but I think Kaya's our front runner after that ride. Yeah,
there's some nice turns there. I'd really like to see, and I'll talk to Kaya after this, because that board has set fins in it too. So, you know, compared to the lift-out fins these days, it'll be interesting to see how he feels with the set fins. I'm not sure if he'd ever had a board with set fins before.
Well, one bloke who loves his set fins is bobbing around out there in the lineup. Strada Wasilewski, how are you enjoying the show?
Yeah, what's happening, Ronnie? How you guys doing?
Oh, we're doing fantastic. You want to help us judge this thing? We think Kaya might have just taken the lead with that last ride.
Yeah, he said he was going to let me ride it too, and maybe I get in on this. Is that all right?
Can you get in on it?
Can I? Yeah, just going to borrow the board from Kaya. It looked like a good board, the Egan.
I'm just getting word from the bosses, mate. No, they want you to stay out of the way.
Stay out of the lineup, Tati. It looks like she's looking at one in here on the inside. There's some really nice waves coming in all over the reef right now. Tide's draining out, so there's different parts of the reef starting to light up. I want to see that, the YU just trimming. That thing is mental. There's so many boards in the water. You just want to get on them all. It's like one of those like fantastic things with it. When you ride different boards, it just, you really get to see people's styles and how they ride the line on the board. It's going to be fun to watch. Look at this thing coming in off the top here.
Oh, any takers?
No, there was a back off there. There's a little barrel behind that, though. A little tube time. I'm telling you, put me in.
I'm looking forward to seeing what Isabella Nichols can do on the Rizal's board, because that is probably, Luke, the smallest and maybe most modern design out there at the moment.
Yeah, it probably is, as we see
Filipe
on the Tezza, on the TF down the line. Bit of lumber to move there, but he did pretty well on his last wave, but that wave closing out.
Just trying to find a nice trim on that one as Jackson Baker looks to take off here.
Ooh.
Nice little
smooth
top turn there. But we did have pretty tricky conditions for the elimination round, so, you know, rather than kind of throw the afternoon away, we thought it was a good opportunity to get this specialty heat underway and see what the world's best can do with some iconic designs from the years gone by. And a lot of these boards really kind of, they did make their mark here at G-Land as well as other locations. But Terry Fitzgerald, Gerry Lopez, Peter Mccabe, yourself with your design, Luke, all boards that kind of required a different approach, and certainly enjoyed some amazing visions here at Grudgigan.
Yeah, and the Sam Egan and the YU, they're probably the most modern boards out there, and if you have a close look at them, the good wave boards of today aren't too different. Like the bottoms, you know, you want to take the concave out of the bottoms when the waves get good and just dull everything up, because you're harnessing the speed of the wave, and you have a close look at those boards, and, you know, yeah, these days we ride shorter boards, but the tails are still pulled in a lot. You know, that these guys, when they, you know, at Margaret River or here at G-Land or Tahiti, so those boards aren't far off the mark, and that's a board I rode 25 years ago. So when the waves are good, simplify the board, and it shows that, yeah, they still work.
Absolutely. Let's hear from one of our competitors now out there in the lineup. Strada's got a special friend.
We found Filipe. Filipe, you just told me that you had a comment about this board and how it feels to ride. Why don't you let the fans know what it's like to ride this line of lumber?
It's actually scary. It's a big board, it's a thick board. The waves are kind of steep, so just gotta sit on the pocket, try to go as fast as I can, and hopefully get a little barrel. Maybe in this one looks right.
He's looking wide. Look, he's looking wide. He wants it. Oh, are they too deep? Go, go, go! Take him. Oh, Philly, he's on it. Go, Philly!
Well, Toledo's going to have to channel. He's in a Terry Fitzgerald here, who just always rode high on the wave, had incredible style, and Filipe's linked this one together pretty nicely here. Whoa. Tricky end section, did well to pull the board out of the lip.
Didn't look dangerous to me. It looked amazing.
And yeah, it is a shout out to those guys that the strength in their legs just from naturally riding those boards every single day. You know, Filipe's struggling to turn it because his boards is so much less volume, and he's so used to just, you know, being able to do whatever he wants, and now he's actually got to push really hard and get that board moving. It's incredible what those guys were able to do, be so radical on these big boards.
And, you know, you can tell these guys are the best surfers in the world. It takes like about half a turn for Filipe here to work this board out. You see him just step back on the tail there and realise he's got to get back a little bit further, and the board is still actually working in these smaller waves. How's the way he got that board on the edge, as we see coming out of the barrel, Kaio.
And it looks like Tati up here too, with a lot of speed on a good sized wave, trying to find that open face. Isn't going to be able to do it on this one.
Here it is.
Well, Igarashi on the MR twin. Look at this wave, beautiful in that afternoon light as he just hammers down the line. He didn't do a lot, but it was still enjoyable to watch.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
really
just
cool.
over 16 minutes to go.
Little walk, step up to the front. You know, it's such cool style.
Terry Fitzgerald, Luke, we spoke about his boards, and he's passed on that shaping legacy to his son Joel, who's been doing some amazing twin fins recently. But Joel actually turned up here one year when he wasn't in the contest and did some amazing surfing up at Cons while the competition was running, right?
Yes, he did. And he was actually a fan of my dad too. He used to get a bunch of boards off Dad for good waves as well. So, yeah, Joel, what an incredible surfer, and now incredible craftsman.
Well, Kanoa Igarashi loving the MR. We were talking about Martin Worthington's beautiful artwork, and Mark Richards does all his own in his garage, and he's down there with Strider at the moment, and with one of those boards, which we see a replay here of Sam Egan. Sam Egan's board, I should say.
Yeah. Kaio getting a barrel, highlining. Tati just nearly getting round that one.
Yeah, let's see if we can catch up with Strider. He's out there in the lineup with Kanoa as Stephanie Gilmore just trims her way down the line.
All right, yeah, here, come. Yeah, Igarashi, tell me about the board, how it felt going through that section. You kind of barrel dodged it, but you know you were on it. You were flying through it.
I was flying, you know. It was like going down. Like, I'm gonna do a turn right here.
Talk us through this one.
Okay, we got Riz. I guess she's my teammate. She's blue. Oh, she's kind of flaring. Oh, what? Bang! She's going smooth. She's going for the smooth point.
Almost right there.
She's got like a 6.5 in her. Like a huge.
Good thing she's on your team, because you went straight on yours.
I went dead straight, but it was the best 0.5 I've ever caught, because I was flying. I was like, okay, I'm gonna turn here. Like, no. Next section. I'm like, I'm gonna turn here. No, I'm gonna get barreled. Oh, I'm gonna turn. Wait, barrel. Oh, I'm done. So it was fun.
You look good. You look really good doing it, though. You look like flying through that one barrel section. We love seeing it. Get back out there. Get the MR flaring. But top to bottom, top to bottom.
Thank you, Strider. Yeah, Kanoa Igarashi just loving the feel, loving the speed of that twin fin. Luke, what's the sensation of riding one of MR's retro twins?
Oh, we saw he harnessed the speed really easily, and probably, you know, from the beginning to the end of the wave, probably covered more distance than anyone, because that thing's an absolute rocket. Twin fins just seem to have that forward speed, no drag from having a centre fin on the stringer. But and the beautiful thing with the Mark Richards are the outlines. So the faster you go, the stiffer they get. And as we saw, he's really forward on the board there. But look at that effortless speed as he sits in the nice part of the wave. Just if this section had been nice there to be able to pull into, but let's hope we get to see a bit of a slower wave so we can see Kanoa show us some turns on that thing. I'm sure he's going to go berserk.
Yeah, what about the pure joy on his face then? I don't think we've seen him that excited in so long. He just, yeah, it's a good feeling riding that twin fin, I bet.
Yeah, 100%. Just under 13 minutes to go here as Toledo looks to line something up on the inside here, riding the Terry Fitzgerald. And here he goes. Let's see what he can do with it. Getting a little bit of that sort of body language in that Terry was famous for back in the day. He was
he's got that drop knee and the fin way back on that narrow tail, and showing us a little bit of TF flair there. But I think he's doing fantastic on that board. That's quite a big board, and Filipe's one of the smallest guys there. So I'm loving what he's being able to do on that board.
So we've got some decisions to make here during this iconic for a reason expression session. We're going to be announcing a male winner and a female winner. At the moment, I mean, Kaya's been barreled and he had some really nice turns, combinations, but that's not necessarily the criteria that we're going to be scoring. So for you guys, who's got it on the men's side at the moment?
Well, I actually like Kaya's couple of big hits, but that's getting a little bit to what we do these days, isn't it? But and I like the flying down the line, but even though Kanoa did absolutely nothing, it looked good.
Yeah,
he went pretty fast, Luke, which is...
He went fast, you know, and here he is again. He's not going to get around this one. I like that one of Kaya's, but I'm biased. It's on Dad's board, but yeah. And actually, Toledo is probably, for a board that's not really, you know, made for the style of surf is out there, I think he's doing a fantastic job.
Dimity?
Yeah, he is. And I love the way Kaya's shown a bit of everything, you know. Like, he got a sweet little barrel and he went so tight in the pocket with 3 back-to-back. But here's Jacko. Can you please wear that that hat in your heat?
Jackson Baker, he's been wearing it in the free surfs. He might give it a go. But not getting much out of that ride. He's going to head back out there, 10.5 minutes to go. Yeah, it's hard to go past the tube ride when you're at G-Land. So yeah. I think Kaya's maybe still got it for me at the moment. Kanoa's probably not too far behind, just based on the speed and the style. I think
actually where he was standing on the board too, he was like late 70s MR on his backhand, say at the Coke contest at Narrabeen, just standing forward a little bit. And that's another thing to mention too, is that he rode that ball correctly then. You know, everyone used to get down the line, they wouldn't stay on the tail on like on a traditional thruster. You'd get back on the you'd move forward and steer the board from a bit further up, as we see Jackson just on a Mccabe here, just gliding, keeping it all pretty groovy. Got his hat on. Sun-safe hat.
Let's talk a bit about Peter Mccabe for a moment, because he did spend a whole lot of time here at G-Land with Gerry Lopez, and you know, just really garnered an incredible reputation for being an amazing barrel rider, but such a core lord. Basically just worked to save up to get to Indo and then spent 6 months here every single year. Yeah,
he'd be in Newcastle just making as many surfboards as he could to return back up to Indonesia to go surfing, and Dave's birthday today.
Oh, happy birthday.
A bit around Newcastle when I was a kid, and he was always, you know, making a bunch. He'd come home and sometimes only be home for a couple of weeks because he'd run out of surfboards. Go home, make a bunch of boards, punch out a couple of orders, and then come back up to Indonesia.
Stephanie Gilmore up at the moment. This one's starting to bowl out. She's going to get out of this one. But, yeah, it's been a little bit hard to just identify what boards are under whose feet out there. But you're right, Jacko is riding a Mccabe. I believe he's got a couple of boards over here at the moment. Yeah,
I could see the trade winds between his feet then on that board. So he is on a Mccabe, as we see. This is a great wave. We've been waiting for this.
Oh.
Really clean lines. This is Isabella Nichols, and
oh, wow.
she's on a replica of Rizal's board from his wildcard performance here back in '97. And she's styling. She didn't kind of go to that
She should
sort
be
of
on
high performance approach.
She should be on the Fitz one.
Yeah,
on the
I know.
TF
Her
doing
and
that.
Filipe need to swap boards. Actually, Filipe had the style too. I love the the old school Terry hip movements, and he was getting right into it.
Jackson up again at the moment.
But yeah, Isabella's grown up in long point breaks at Noosa. Definitely had her fair share of riding some old school boards up there.
We might have to try and tee up a replay of Toledo's last ride.
Yeah, that was
We're
nice.
deep in story as he kind of rode across the wave, but he definitely worked the board the way it's meant to be ridden and showed us a bit of style on the inside. I think on the women's side at the moment for me, Carissa Moore on the Simon Anderson's got the field covered. Steph had a really nice stylish trim, sole arch, backhand sole arch, but yeah, I like Carissa's surfing.
Agreed. Here we go. Bit of Fitz.
Taking his time to look
at
around.
that. Just the way he's dancing up and down the board too. That's exactly the way, they used to surf with so much flow and style.
Yeah,
So
nothing was
cool.
forced, was it?
No.
Surfing it out of the middle of the board, and it's working perfectly. Stepping back to get some of those carves done. Wow, I'm nearly changing to Filipe with this wave. He just, harnessing the era of the surfboard, just getting all groovy on it, and yeah, don't jump up and down, or we'll
that's
take
for
points
sure.
off.
Even his feet start to bow out. That was my
yeah, and he's
favourite
bowing
style.
the knees out. Fitz used to do that through the flat
Yeah.
sections and bow the knees out and just groove out with his arms. And
I love that.
this is we might have to go to the replay and have the head judge over our shoulder tell us what to do.
And then the Ho brothers adopted that style really well too, with the feet bowed and just styling in the tube out at pipe. Love that.
Yeah, at one point the surfers of that era were really influencing what was happening in skateboarding as well, and as people surfed the streets, they definitely started to adopt some of those similar stances and just little stylings as Toledo switch foot.
Hey, is that Italo or?
Yeah, I don't think he's going to improve on his previous ride with that
Gee,
performance.
the last one was pretty impressive.
Really nice to watch. Yeah, I think back to just the surfers that were riding these boards that shaped their own boards too, a lot of them, and just the incredible power that they had in the surfing. Also, their timing was just so pinpoint because they're not easy boards to swing around in.
Yeah, no. And what about, I've heard stories of, Michael Peterson shaping himself amazing boards and then shaping his mates an absolute dog because they're competing against each other. I love that. It would just never happen now.
And your dad was shaping boards for some of your rivals as well.
Yes, he was. That was okay. Same thing. They didn't go as good as mine.
Isabella up again here, and she's really just taking the style to this board.
She has.
I thought she was just going to stand back on the tail of the thing and just roost some big backhand jams.
Well, you could see how loose the tail was even when she just did that one little hit. It's really cool.
So 4 minutes to go here. Don't forget, we're going to have the WSL post show after the Quiksilver Iconic for a Reason expression session. Beautiful afternoon here at G-Land. Luke, you've been loving your time back here.
Yeah, loving it, Ron. We've had some fun days free surfing as we see Carissa Moore with a beautiful wave. This is a better speed wave for her to get some good turns done, and carves out of the lip.
That was
Simon-esque there out of the lip. She's looking a bit like Simon Anderson for sure.
They're making that board work, and really it was the reason that everyone started talking about the thruster design is just how well it worked for Simon in 81 across so many different locations, incredible conditions, as we do get the opportunity to see Kanoa on a wave with a slower pace, allowing him to really find some freedom and let go of some decent turns.
Yeah, I just wish Kanoa had ridden a few more waves because I think he's getting the hang of that board, and it looks really nice under his feet.
Could be an option for the contest.
Maybe.
3 minutes to go here. How you feeling, Dim, about the front runner on the men's side?
Yeah, on the men's side, I mean, I love the variety that Kaio had. Like, to find a barrel out there is actually, you know, it's almost like good energy with this onshore. But Filipe, that was really cool too. Just seeing him get into the era of that surfboard was, yeah, that was really cool too. But Carissa so far has been a standout for the women's.
Yeah, she might have been the standout for the whole thing.
Just that carve.
I've liked Carissa's surfing on the thruster replica.
Hasn't really seemed like Carissa's sort of struggled to work this board out. It's just been a nice relationship from the moment she stood up.
Stand on the tail, go to the steep part of the wave and turn as hard as possible.
Well, let's have a look at what Kaio got done on the outside and see if he can get himself back into a position to have a pick of one of these amazing boards.
Not bad.
Not bad. I'm sticking with Toledo. I wouldn't mind seeing Kanoa Igarashi's last ride though, because it had a moment where he was racing down the line and then the wave slowed up and allowed him to, you know, shift that weight back onto the tail and start to swing together some nice combinations.
Get radical, you know, like Mark Richards.
Big time. The wounded girl.
Goal.
Had a big influence on everyone in Australia, but in Newcastle in particular.
Yeah, what a time. I reflect on it all the time, being a kid, watching Mark Richards come back from winning world titles, winning, you know, world events, and then just surfing Merriweather and training and sitting there and watching him and sit there and watch him for hours. And, you know, just in the normal crowd at Merriweather, he was just so superior. But, yeah, it was a great time to be a kid in Merriweather when he was winning his 4 world titles.
Here's the replay of Kanoa's last ride. So much speed. He just hammered down the line. Just climbed forward on that board. Love that knock knee stance, Dimity, and then a couple of nice turns through the inside.
Yeah, and here's where he really opens up. How cool is that? Just so much speed and able to rip in straight away. He's definitely looking radical on that. That was really cool to watch. I think that's my favourite so far.
I'm going with Toledo still.
Ooh, Toledo. I'm just loving the speed of Igarashi. I think if Toledo can sort of find himself a decent wave that allows the same kind of momentum down the line, I think he might get it, but I know I might be with Igarashi too. But this one is coming to a close, just 5 seconds remaining. And look, I don't think a decision's going to have to be too thought about on the women's side. I think Carissa Moore gets it on the Simon Anderson. Your thoughts?
Oh, yeah, I agree.
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up. Strider's out there in the lineup. Your thoughts, Strider? Who takes it for the women?
Oh, yeah, I'd have to go with Carissa, looking just too strong. She actually said that this is going to help her whole campaign on the event. She feels like that board was nice and smooth, and then getting back on the other boards and just let her open right back up. But out here right now on the Simon, just looking super solid, loving it.
What about on the men's side for you, Strider?
Well, it's kind of a toss of the coin between Toledo and Igarashi. Igarashi's moment where he was going straight, but he was in that bowl, just flying on the MR20, looked so beautiful. And then Toledo just looked like he was tapping into some other generation, and it was really fun to see him be able to transcend back a couple years there and find himself styling on that Fitzgerald.
So is it for you?
I'd say maybe I'm going to have to give it to Toledo.
All right, well, let's make a call in here on who we think. We've got Carissa taking the women's. For me, I think I'm going to go with Kanoa Igarashi. So we've got one for Kanoa, one for Toledo. Toledo.
Where are we at? 2-2? Oh, my gosh. I'm going to go with Filipe just based on the style and the way he was able to, you know, surf that board in that generation.
All right, well, there you have your winners. Perfect. I love it. Filipe Toledo will get a choice of that quiver, and also Carissa Moore will get her choice as well. Stick around. We've got the WSL post-show just around the corner, thanks to Corona.